Alright, House of the Dragon Season 2 finale. It's aired. And you know how at this point I usually give you my disclaimer, tell you, hey, this is me talking about this episode of House of the Dragon. Not going to be a play-by-play, but just some things that stood out. And then I do a soft play-by-play, but they are things that stood out. I mention them for the sake of talking about what happened, making some jokes, giving you my opinion, moving on. Gonna go ahead and forego that. Gonna talk about some spoilers in the season, sure, but I just want to give you my overall thoughts on the season and how it wrapped up. Gonna try to make this quick so you can get back out there watching those Beard Meets Food videos. You ever watch Beard Meets Food? My God, how entertaining is that channel? Anyhow, so season 2 of House of the Dragon was like, it was the pendulum swing from season 1. You know how season 1 skipped years almost to a fault, but we were still having a good time with it? It's like they were like, we want to course correct that in season 2, so season 2 is gonna have a lot of filler to draw out the runtime to a fault. But looking back, I do feel like the first half of season 2 was solid. I now have to humor whether or not I'm looking at season 2 of House of the Dragon and my enjoyment of it through rose-colored goggles of sorts, because it was my Acolyte palette cleanser. It was like, was I enjoying it because I enjoyed the palette cleanser and I appreciated that? But I do maintain there was something there in the first half of season 2. The Daemon hanging out in Harrenhal thing, that stood out like a sore thumb, where it was like, can we get that going? But for the most part, then at a point, I just feel like this season lost the way. Episode 8 is the finale of season 2, in which the biggest action sequence is a fist fight in the mud. Although looking at Game of Thrones, it did have a history of having the second to last episode of the season, having that be the big action episode, and the finale episode might have been cool down or set up for the next season. And although the second to last episode of House of the Dragon season 2 was dragons eating people, that was fun. It takes more than just things happening that are cool to watch. Otherwise, you might run the risk of your season feeling like filler. Not all of season 2 feels like filler, but season 2 had a lot of filler, earning the internet nickname House of the Dragon on. Which is a bummer because it's so well produced, it's easy to fall into this world. There's intrigue here, absolutely. Interesting characters, no doubt. But it's being squandered on a show that's padding its runtime and episode count, drawing out a show that probably would have been a cool 1 to 2 season adaptation. No, instead, let's make it 4. If I'm looking at it, the most holy shit, can't wait for the next season cliffhanger moment episode is actually episode 4. Rhaenys and her dragon die. The king gets toasted by his brother's dragon. Did his brother do it on purpose? Did he not? Is the king alive? Is he not? This was a 4-episode season disguised as an 8-episode season. In fact, I didn't see until it was too late. For that, I apologize. What can I say? It's a world that had already hooked me, so I was constantly met with that feeling of, yeah, but it's gonna go somewhere. There's gonna be payoff. In the end, I just kind of feel robbed. Haven't even gotten to the last time I have to talk about Daemon still hanging out in Harrenhal, I hope. They take who is without a doubt the most interesting character in the series. He has a fight with his wife, he takes off, just hangs out in Harrenhal for the entirety of the second season, and does fuck all. Kind of reminds me of Hiro Nakamura in Heroes Season 2. You want to feel old? That's right, kids. 18 years ago this September, a show called Heroes premiered. But the point is, in the show Heroes, Hiro Nakamura, for the second season, he's hanging out in feudal Japan for far longer than he needed to. And every time we cut to him there, it just ground the momentum to a halt. I'll give Heroes Season 2 credit. That arc was actually building to something. It was building to the villain, though it took too long. It's actually not as bad on a binge, but imagine that shit week to week. It drove us nuts. It was very much like Daemon in Harrenhal. He should have been there for 1 episode, maybe 2, max. Instead, they made him feel like that guy who had a fight with his wife, then he crashes on his friend's couch, you know, until he gets his shit in order. And then he just, you know, crashes there for far too long. All he did was mope around and have salvia trips. The point does rear its head in episode 8 of season 2. So we can have this quick vision of the events of Game of Thrones. That's it. No, this is frustrating. Anyhow, those are my thoughts on season 2 of House of the Dragon. A season 2 that peaked halfway through at episode 4, and a show that is not justifying its episode count. It's signed on through season 4, in which season 4 is said to be the final season. My one thought being that's a lot of filler episodes. I feel like this is going to be a project for a lot of editors out there. Remember Phantom Edit? Someone edited a lot of the Jar Jar Binks scenes out of the Phantom Menace. Topher Grace recut the Hobbit trilogy into 1 movie. I feel like when House of the Dragon is done, fan editors are gonna come out of the woodwork and just cut this down to 1 solid season of television. As for HBO, why make 1 or 2 solid seasons when you can draw it out to 4? It's just annoyingly apparent that that's why. Alright, so House of the Dragon Season 2, have you seen it? What did you think about it? Whatever you thought, comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.